Hello and welcome to the Placentia Library District's Family Cooking Time with Yule Log Oh My. In your kit you'll find 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, 100 grams of sugar, 40 grams of cocoa powder, 1 Nutella packet, 65 grams of self-raising flour, and powdered sugar for dusting. You'll provide 4 large eggs and 1 pint of heavy cream. You'll also need a 13 by 9 inch pan, parchment paper, scissors, a spatula, a bowl for mixing or a KitchenAid mixer, a saucepan, and an optional sifter. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees and prepare the pan. Cut your parchment paper to 13 by 9 inches to line the bottom of the pan. I like to measure using the bottom of the pan, but you could also spray or grease. For the sponge, in a large bowl, whisk all 4 eggs and 100 grams of sugar. This cake gets its rise from the air beaten into the eggs, so this step is very important. Start on a low setting until combined. Then gradually increase to a medium-high speed until the mixture is pale in color, light, and frothy. You'll want to scrape the sides occasionally. Once the mixture is pale and frothy, check the consistency by watching the ribboning of the drops. They should hold their shape. Next, we will add the flour and cocoa powder. If you have a sifter, sift in, but if not, you can use a spoon to break down any large chunks by pressing the back of the spoon into the side of the bowl until thin and powdery. Sift the flour and cocoa powder into the bowl and carefully cut and fold together using a spatula until all the cocoa and flour are incorporated into the egg mixture. Folding is a technique in which you move the spatula down the middle of the bowl, then gently flip the mixture over. Be careful not to beat any air out of the mixture. Repeat the folding technique until the mixture is fully incorporated. Pour the mixture into the lined pan, being careful not to knock any air out of the mixture. Spread evenly out into the corners and bake in the middle of a preheated oven for 8 to 10 minutes, or until it is well risen and firm to the touch, with the sides shrinking away from the pan. Place a piece of parchment paper bigger than 13 by 9 inch on a work surface. Dust with some powdered sugar, saving some for later. While the cake is still warm, carefully invert onto the paper and remove the bottom lining. Dust with a bit more powdered sugar, careful to leave some for the top. Cut a score mark 1 inch along the 13-inch side of the cake. Do not cut the cake all the way through, just make a mark to start the roll. Starting with this edge, begin to tightly roll the cake using the parchment paper. You'll want to make sure to roll with the paper inside the cake, so none of the cake is touching itself. Roll with the paper inside and sit the roll on its outside edge to cool completely. While the cake is cooling, make the ganache topping. On your stovetop, heat 265 milliliters or 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons cream in a pan, just until it is warm to the touch, or just so as you can keep your finger in it. I use the spoon to test the temperature. Remove from heat. Add the chocolate chips and stir until they are fully melted. Pour into a bowl, cool to room temperature, and then put into the fridge to firm up. Now we are going to make the filling. Pour remaining heavy cream into a mixing bowl. Using the mixer, beat the cream until medium peak forms. Scrape the sides of the pan down occasionally. When you lift the whisk out from the bowl, a semi-sturdy peak should form. The peak will slightly drop down, but not lose its shape. The perfect texture will not be too soft or heavy and curdled. Don't be afraid to stop and check the consistency as you go, scraping down the sides as needed. Add the Nutella packet to the whipped cream. If you do not like Nutella, flavor with jam or marmalade. Fold or mix the Nutella into desired incorporation. Some like a swirled ribbon effect, or mix it in completely. It's up to you. Gently uncurl the cold Swiss roll cake. Spread the whipped cream on top and re-roll tightly. Use the parchment paper to help roll, peeling back as you go. Cut a quarter of the cake off from the end on a diagonal cut. Transfer the large piece of cake to a serving platter and angle the small piece of cake in the middle of the large cake to make a branch. You have two options to frost the cake, a piping bag with a star nozzle or a fork. I prefer the fork method, so that is what I will show you. Use a knife to cover the entire cake with ganache. Create a rough bark texture with a fork. Start by making a few circle shapes. Then draw long lines across the rest. Don't forget to swirl the sides. Dust with remaining powdered sugar and garnish with decoration to serve. And that's it! You have now made the Yule log cake. Share with friends and family and enjoy. And don't forget to post your photos. Share and follow us for more family cooking time.